Hello and welcome back to Tottenham Logic TV. Can Tottenham get third place this weekend? A lot's got to happen for that to happen, but it's not impossible. It's mathematically possible, and I don't want to jinx it. If Liverpool beat Villa and Chelsea and Arsenal draw and Forest lose to Newcastle, Spurs by goal difference will be third in the Premier League. Going into the international break, all of us will feel very happy, very confident for the rest of the season, and very optimistic. If the opposite happens, we're all going to have a meltdown. I can see it now. First thing I'm worried about, in my opinion, is we always seem to lose a game before the international break. My theory is, are some of our players trying harder for their international teams than they are for their clubs? Are they not putting in as much effort for the game in case they get injured and they miss their international games? Especially Romero, he seems like he switches off and he don't seem as interested in the game as he normally would, if that makes sense. I really hope I'm just imagining this, and hopefully that he doesn't take this game lightly. Ipswich won't be a walkover, by the way. Their players work extremely hard in every single match and they battle for everything. They're not too bad going forward either. They've got the guy called Delap up front, physically strong, pretty quick. He's a good finisher, so we need to watch out for him. The vulnerabilities for Ipswich is basically at the back, and if we can exploit that, then we should score a few goals. Their goalkeeper seems a little bit dodgy. He's made quite a few mistakes this season, so if we can get Solanke pressing him, then maybe we can get some joy there. They were seconds away from winning their first ever Premier League game this season against Leicester, and Leicester scored in the last minute. Are they still hungry for that first victory? And you know what we are? We are Dr. Tottenham, and we normally give them the medicine. So hopefully this time, because we're at home, this won't happen. If they play a low block, which they don't normally do, they play quite expansive attacking football. If they change tactics, which they haven't done all season so far, and they play a low block, this will probably play into our hands as we seem to struggle more with teams that press us high. So we'll see how they turn up and how they play against us. But I'm still not too worried about it. Tottenham have been outstanding at home this season. We should take advantage of that. And if we can get 2, 3, 4 goals against Ipswich, it'll bring a lot of confidence to this team moving forwards, especially because our next game is going to be very difficult. Tottenham have scored 22 goals in the Premier League season so far, which is more than anybody else. And Ipswich have conceded 21. So on paper, Spurs are not the best team for them to be playing this weekend. Other than Liverpool, many teams are dropping points. Aston Villa, I think, have lost the last 3 in all competitions. I think Arsenal have only won 1 out of the last 4 or 5. Man City have lost 3 in a row now. Inconsistencies are happening all over the Premier League at the moment. And if we can just start to get a little bit consistent, we can work our way right up to near the top of that Premier League. We need to continue this home form. But we really need to improve our away form as well. Don't need to think about that this weekend because obviously we're at home. But if we can improve our away form, carry on this home form and smash Ipswich and then aim for a trophy, we could end up, getting in the top 4 and a trophy this season. So the injury news for the weekend is Romero may be able to play. I think he's a 50-50. He's a doubt, but he may be able to play. Odegaard is still out. I think he's going to be out until the end of November. Then he'll be assessed. Mikey Moore is still suffering with a flu virus, so he won't be in. We've got Van der Ven might be back after the international break. Werner, I'm not sure on his availability, but he was on a subs bench against Aston Villa last week. So I'm assuming he'll be on the bench again on Sunday. So the lineup I'm thinking we should be playing is Vicario, Udogie, Romero, Dragushin, Porro, Bentancur, Sarr, Kulu, Sonny, Solanke and Johnson. So if we line up with that midfield, we have got a fresh midfield from Thursday's loss against Galatasaray. We also have Romero, who'll be back from injury. Vicario was rested, so he's fully fresh. And Johnson and Sonny both got taken off at half time against Galatasaray. So we've got quite a fresh side going into this game, so no excuses. Also, we like on the bench in attack, we're probably on bare bones at the moment. So probably have Werner and have Lancashire on the bench going forward. So there's not a lot there that can really change the game. Defense-wise, we're quite bare bones as well, but we'll have Gray, Davis, and maybe Spence if he's back from his groin injury in defence. Then we've got midfield replacements. We've got on the bench would have Madison, Bassoon, Bergville, which is pretty decent substitutes to have in your midfield. My score prediction for this going into the game, I feel that Ipswich will score. I'm hoping that we go 1-0 down because that normally means we'll win 4-1. But I'm going to go for 3-1 to Spurs, Solanke to get 2, and Johnson to score as well. After the international break, we have Manchester City. I'm really hoping our away form can improve, but that's the worst place to go to when you've got a bad away form is go to the Etihad Stadium and try and get a result. But at the moment, their form's not the best, so you never know. We could get a result there. But what better way of getting confidence if you can win away against Manchester City next week? Well, after the international break, and then your away form's been corrected, then hopefully we can go on to bigger and better things. Let me know in the comments what your score predictions. How do you think this game is going to go? Smash that like if you think we can get a win over Ipswich Town. It's a bigger game than it's a bigger game than you think, because you want to go into the international break optimistic. You want the players to go into the international break confident. You want them to come back fully fit, fully fighting. We've got a very, very tough period coming up in November and December. Very tough period, and we need as many squad players back as possible. Hopefully, we have a bit more luck with injuries coming in after the international break. Let's get this Ipswich game out of the way. Let's get a win under our belt, 15 points, and let's hopefully get to third place. And come on, you Spurs!